Hi guys, Makashi here. I just wanted to create this quick little video talking about a theory we've been building up on in the streams, looking at the trajectory of Elite Dangerous at the moment, the direction things seem to be heading in, and I just want to give my 2 cents about what I think this mystery feature at the end of the year is going to be. So, first things first, I think it's worth just giving some qualifiers and um, sort of setting your expectation as to why I think I should be deemed as credible and considering this. So, prior to being a full-time streamer, I have a 14-year background in software development. I've worked as a software tester for 8 years. Then I moved into automation, building like automated testing frameworks. And then lastly, I transitioned into product management, which was very much about understanding user needs and getting them into the brains of developers so they can write the most effective code that meets the user's needs. So bottom line is I know what I'm talking about when it comes to software development and how to effectively run a software development process. And more importantly, the product management side of things is really a brass tacks situation. Like, we're looking at the bottom line. We want to ensure that every row of code we pay to have implemented is having a return on investment. And that is very much the lens that I'm bringing to this situation. So there's some things that I just want to like draw a line under to make sure that we're all on the same page. We'll transition to this. So we can see that Frontier Developments has existed for a number of years, back from 1995, when they first released Frontier First Encounters. And over the years, they've moved in this direction of building their own game engine. Okay, so Elite Dangerous was, I believe, the first time that the Cobra engine, which is the game engine that we play in Elite Dangerous, was fully deployed. And from then on, they have continued to use the Cobra engine. For example, Planet Coaster and Planet Coaster 2 are in that engine. Jurassic World, Planet, all of these games are using the Cobra engine, but they're nothing like Elite, right? Like Elite has massive worlds where you're able to travel for literally light seconds, right? Like, it's relativistic stuff. Whereas all these other games, in particular things like Jurassic World and Planet Zoo, they're very much, you have a finite map and then you build in the map, right? And the parts of the Cobra engine that are leveraged there, to the best of my knowledge, are going to be the raw physics processing. So in order to do things like processing roller coasters and the number of G's that the human would experience, or to process the water for water rides, things like that. That's the main components that they're bringing over from Elite Dangerous, which was the foundation of the Cobra engine. Now, in this year, they have released Colonization. I'm just going to borrow my dear ex-squadron leader and friends Sirius Sam 7's colony to demonstrate this. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, I think that the new feature at the end of the year will be an extension to Colonization that is going to allow us as architects to build our own cities, our own areas on Earth-like worlds and on other atmospheric bodies that we can't currently land on with our spaceships. I imagine that it's going to be something like where you have a bunch of grids and you can just select a grid that will create a construction zone. Now, this video is on all of your hard drives. It's been part of the Elite Dangerous video game for nearly 10 years now. This used to be one of the old backgrounds that would play when you load the game, and sometimes it might show up. And the reason I reference it is you can see here, part of the lore is space elevators. So I'm just going to break down for you what I envision being the gameplay loop here. You're an architect. You develop your colony to a stage where populating the Earth-like world is a viable thing. You are then able to designate a location that you wish to make accessible and that you'll be able to build in. And the first step will be to construct this space elevator. Then other commanders will be able to dock at the space elevator, disembark, and travel down to the surface, which would just be like a static video. Like, it'll be a standard video, right? It might need to change some coloration based on particulars of the atmospheric profile, but ultimately that would be like a really replicable and like development friendly way of getting people down onto the surface of these places. Now, the big issue for Frontier is it's not really feasible for them to make the entire surface of these planets explorable and meet the bar of immersion that they've set for the rest of the world, or the rest of the galaxy, I guess I should call it. Because there's just so much variability. There's hydrospheres they would have to emulate and simulate. There would be erosion over time. You would expect different types of trees. You'd expect every single place to have different types of life evolved. So I just don't see any world where they can feasibly crack that egg with the resources they've got available. But what we know they have available now, right now, in the Cobra engine, is the ability to define these spaces for users to architect and terraform that area, place assets in it, go into first person and walk around. So essentially, that's what I'm positing is the end of the year. I think that's what we're heading towards. I imagine that it will then enable so much gameplay. You know, we're going to be able to essentially have our own games within the game. You could build an entire city. You could build racetracks. You could have arenas. You could have forests and wilderness areas. And then it also, you think from a monetization perspective, it allows them to start doing things like cross-pollinating DLCs from Planet Coaster and Jurassic World into Elite, right? Now, the one other reason that I would say I think there's credibility to this is the raw, what I was saying at the beginning about the raw cost of development and ensuring that you're getting that return on investment. Right now, the user's experience in Elite Dangerous in the Cobra engine is very different to the experience in, say, Planet Coaster 2. It's a completely different experience, right? And so it's not trivial to take a developer that's working on Planet Coaster and just plop them over into Elite Dangerous if you need to ramp up, or vice versa. And that is like super expensive and risky from a business perspective. So that's where I feel like they need to make this step where they can use their staff across all of their products and IPs. And right now, that's what's missing from Elite Dangerous. There is no facility that leverages people that have worked on these like park games for 6 years. So I would argue that's what I think is most likely to be coming. It makes a lot of sense from an ROI perspective. It allows them to take it. What it means is if they build a DLC for Planet Coaster 2, that requires a new feature, that feature could then also be a feature ad in Elite Dangerous, and vice versa. If there's a feature they need to build for Elite Dangerous, they can transpose that over into their other franchises, and it is essentially they write the code once into their engine and they can sell it multiple times on multiple IPs. If I was working there, that is the drum I would be banging all day long, because that is the key to being profitable. Is you need to take your effort and you need to charge for it multiple times. I know we're getting into the brass tacks there, but that's how I see it. So what do you guys think? Do please feedback, hit me up in the comments. I'm really curious as to whether you feel that's got legs. I think it's the way to go. And yeah, let me know. Cheers. 07.